President Trump is on his way to Charlotte, North Carolina a bit later on, awaiting his departure from the White House to make an appearance on the first day of the Republican National Convention. House Minority Whip Steve Scalise is one of today's speakers. He says the Democrats at their convention showed no enthusiasm for Joe Biden's agenda, so they just went after President Trump. Congressman Scalise can make that case now. He joins us live. Good morning, Congressman. So, draw a contrast from what we saw last week for the DNC and what we are about to see at the Republican National Convention. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Sandra. And what you're going to see this week is really the president talking about and all of us talking about the great things that President Trump has already done in just 47 months in office and what we're going to do to get us out of this COVID crisis. Who better to rebuild this great economy than President Trump, who already built the greatest economy in the history of our country. He's done it before. He's going to do it again. And then you heard Joe Biden last week and all of his surrogates basically talk about 47 years in office, a lot of fluff stuff. By the way, they mentioned Donald Trump and their platform more than they mentioned jobs or racial equality or any of those things. So it tells you they're just fixated against President Trump. They're not talking about what they're going to do for families. And President Trump has fought for the hardworking men and women of this country. I mean, the forgotten men and women who voted 4 years ago, who are going to show up and reelect him this time, have a lot that they can be proud of in knowing what he's done to fight for him and deliver on his promises. You know, making promises and delivering on promises is very important, and that's what President Trump has done. Joe Biden's got 47 years. Look at all the things he talked about doing last week. He hadn't done any of those in 47 years. So, again, Donald Trump in just 47 months has done a lot more than Joe Biden's 47 years, and there's a lot more to go. The best is yet to come.
Congressman, you are one of the speakers. How are you catering your message to those that may have moved away from President Trump, may have lost enthusiasm for the president, but did vote for him back in 2016, as you do see him obviously trailing in some of the recent polls in some of those key states that Trump won? How do you cater your message?
Yes, Sandra, and I'm glad that momentum is finally starting to go back our way as people realize the matchup. You know, that now that Biden's picked as vice president, everybody knows now it's Trump and Pence versus Biden and Harris. And the vision for the country is really what's important. What I want to do tonight, Sandra, is really go a little bit behind the scenes and share with people what kind of person Donald Trump is and how he fights for people, how much he cares about people. And that's a sign of the president that the media really doesn't show a lot. You know, when you're in meetings with the president, he's very informed about what we're talking about at that moment, but he really is most concerned about how we're going to help families get back into the middle class. We were losing our middle class under 8 years of Joe Biden as vice president. Literally, our middle class had evaporated. President Trump worked hard to rebuild it. We were already starting to bring jobs back from other countries, including China. And clearly, there's a lot more work to do. But he's proven he can deliver for those hardworking men and women, and they need somebody that's going to fight for them today, and that's Donald Trump.
That's really interesting to hear you say that, because there was a lot of talk last week about Joe Biden's character and his party talking up his character and attacks on President Trump's character. So why did you choose that route for your speech tonight?
Well, that's all they have is just attacking the president. You saw it with, 4 years. Nancy Pelosi wasted these last 2 years just focusing on trying to attack the president, the impeachment hoax, all these other hoaxes. Just Saturday, the post office hoax. I mean, they've got enough money today to go through the middle of next year and run a full election. And yet she just wants to try to create a political issue. Donald Trump cares about people. And I get to see that. Again, I mean, when he's in meetings, he's trying to figure out how we can make government work better for those men and women that Washington had left behind for so long. And it's a compelling story. Again, you read the Democrat Party platform, they mention Donald Trump more than they mention jobs, more than they mention what's happening in our cities, these cities that are being burned down. They're open to defunding the police. Joe Biden actually says he wants to reallocate money away from police and then tries to think he can tell you that's not defunding them. We know how to do basic math. If you take away money, reallocate money away from somebody, you are defunding them. Donald Trump stands with our men and women in law enforcement. There are very big contrasts in this election. Who better to rebuild the economy that we know we can have once we get out of COVID? And by the way, President Trump's working right now, night and day, to get a vaccine approved. Operation Warp Speed, which doesn't get enough credit, is the president's laser focus on getting red tape out of the way at agencies like FDA to get a vaccine so that scientists can go be empowered to do what they're doing right now, and that is literally stage 3 of testing on multiple drugs that could be a vaccine approved by the FDA in maybe a matter of weeks. That's revolutionary. That's Donald Trump's leadership.
Congressman, there are about 30 seconds left. How important is this week going to be for your party, for the president, considering we're going to have both conventions behind us as of next week, and it's going to be a sprint to November?
I think this week is really important to lay the foundation for the true contrast in this election between President Trump, his leadership, his vision for the next 4 years, based on a solid foundation of delivering over the last 4 years, versus Joe Biden, who in 47 years in government, again, name a thing that Joe Biden talked about last week that he actually has done in his 47 years in political office. Results matter. People have seen President Trump deliver for them already, and showing that contrast, laying it out this week. And then ultimately, the 3 debates are going to be critically important. You know, Joe Biden committed to 3 debates. He better be, there for all 3 with Donald Trump. He's been in politics almost 50 years. He should be able to do this really well. But I think the 2 of them going head to head, laying out their vision, is going to be what the country wants to see. And Donald Trump's got a great case to make. That's why he's going to get reelected.